You're watching ChillyBoy Productions. I'm Larry ChillyBoy Chillson, and this is my review for Napoleon. Now, before we get into this review, make sure to go ahead and click that subscribe button down below so that you can chill with me on each and every one of my latest videos. Napoleon is a 2023 historical drama from legendary director Ridley Scott. Napoleon takes a look at the military commander's origin and his swift, ruthless rise to emperor, viewed through the prism of his seductive and oftentimes volatile relationship and marriage to Josephine. The film stars Joaquin Phoenix as Napoleon himself, with Vanessa Kirby playing Josephine. So heading into Napoleon, I was a bit nervous because Ridley Scott is on kind of a downward streak for me currently. We know he loves his historical fiction, his big history dramas. He's a big history buff by and large. But the recent ones just have not been working for me at all. Plus, it kind of felt like another white dude history film, like many we've seen over and over again. So while I was interested, I wanted to see the film, I went into this screening with reasoned expectations. And ultimately, maybe that's why I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would, because I really liked Napoleon. Dare I say, this is probably my favorite Ridley Scott film since The Martian, at least. So let's go ahead and talk about the positives first. Well, I got to start off with the cinematography from Dariusz Wolski because this film is shot beautifully. It is an absolutely stunning piece of visual work. The absolute lens, the sweeping movement of the camera is amazing. The war scenes are shot in such a brutal yet stunning fashion. The framing, the lighting, literally everything about the cinematography is gorgeous. This is a stunning film. As a director, he's able to get the best out of everyone with a really strong vision. This is a return to form for Ridley Scott, particularly when it comes to historical dramas of the such. Particularly when it comes to historical dramas of such. This really does feel like a return of the historic epic. The scale is huge and stunning. The army set pieces are amazing. The war sequences are brutal, all centering around an unconventional hero figure that also is not really a hero figure. I found the pacing to work really well for a movie that nears 3 hours long. I was never bored. I was fully enthralled and intrigued in this story from start to finish. The screenplay infusing some really fun humor throughout the film and placing it at just the right spots. There's an air of self-awareness here that we don't see in a lot of these big historic epics like this. I do think Joaquin Phoenix was great, as he usually is, though it's not one of my favorite Joaquin performances, and it won't be one of my favorite leading male performances of 2023. I do think he did exactly what needed to be delivered here. But it's Vanessa Kirby for me that kind of steals the show. I found her to be extremely captivating. She just effortlessly draws you in every single scene she's in. And the original score, oh my gosh, I was obsessed with the original score watching this film. The music is just stunning. So then, what doesn't work so well when it comes to Napoleon? Well, my biggest negative is actually Josephine and the full development of her. It's kind of being touted as Napoleon through the lens of Josephine and his relationship with her. And they certainly center that at the center of the story, if you will. However, I just feel like she was underdeveloped. And honestly, even parts of their relationship were really underdeveloped. For instance, the first time we meet her, she has two kids from a previous relationship, and we just don't see them. We don't see them until way late in the movie. One of them pops back up randomly. They're not really acknowledged as her children if they're there or anywhere. So for a film that's supposedly from kind of a viewpoint of this woman, she doesn't really get the development I think she needs. So I think once again, much like with the last duel, it's not necessarily a poorly written character. It's not really a poorly written female character as is, but it's a female character that just kind of lacks full perspective. I know this is a nitpick that people always have, but particularly here when everybody is from different countries and we're doing all of this, there was no French spoken in this film, which was very odd to me. Like I can deal with them speaking English most of the time, but nobody had French accents really. Nobody spoke in French ever. It was all just English, which was a very strange choice. Some of the music that was played was in French, but the characters themselves, no, they just exclusively spoke English. And I will say, I mean, it is long, and while I didn't feel the length, it's certainly something to be aware of. And I don't think it really deviates from the historical epic kind of groundwork that you've come to expect. It's pretty by the books when it comes to historical retellings like this. Spans a lot of time, and honestly, for the first half of the movie at least, I think Joaquin Phoenix was actually too old to be playing this character, if I'm being honest. Supposed to be in his 20s, and yeah. They also don't do much makeup work to really transform him throughout the film, which is a choice. But he plays by the standard book of films of this type. But overall, I really enjoyed Napoleon. I had a lot of fun watching it. I thought it really delivered on the historical epic that I was promised. It's entertaining, it gives brutality to war, it shows you a really complicated and complex figure of history, all done behind a beautiful lens with a stellar score playing behind. So if you're into history, definitely give Napoleon a full price ticket. So that was my review for Napoleon. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so that you are always up to date on all of my latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Have you seen Napoleon? Are you excited to check it out? And how have you felt about Ridley Scott's output recently? Let me know all of your comments and thoughts either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your continued support. Mwah! Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.